And look, make no mistake about it, this is a massive shift. That's the exact— What's the deal? Why now? Why this sudden, massive rush? Well, the source material points to two huge potential impacts. First up, You ever stop and wonder who actually owns the land that grows your food? Well, the answer to that question is changing, and it's happening way faster than you'd probably guess. There's this quiet but absolutely massive shift going on right now in America's heartland, and it could totally redefine what you see on your dinner plate. So, in this explainer, we're going to dig into who's really behind this land rush, and, more importantly, what it all means for the future of our food. So what's the deal? Why now? Why this sudden, massive rush for American farmland? Look, this isn't just about buying up some property. No, this is about getting control over one of the most vital resources we have. And if you want to understand what's really going on, well, you've got to follow the money. All right, so let's do just that. Let's follow the money. Who exactly are these new landlords of America's heartland? Well, the answer, it's actually pretty surprising. It's way more concentrated than you might think, and honestly, it's very revealing. Yeah, this isn't your typical real estate boom, you know? We're not talking about thousands of different small buyers here. The source material points to a really clear pattern. This whole land rush is being driven by two very specific, and I mean very powerful groups. And here they are. The two groups are billionaires and foreign entities. Yep. What we're seeing is this huge consolidation of farmland into the hands of a really select few. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about them collecting assets like stamps or something. No, there's a vision behind this, a vision for the future of food. So what exactly is their goal? Okay, so we've got the who. We know who's doing the buying. Now let's get to the why. If you look at the public-facing reason, the excuse they give for these huge acquisitions, it almost always boils down to one single word: sustainability. But what does that word really mean when they say it?
The vision they're selling is something the source material calls sustainable corporate agriculture. Okay, but let's look closer at that definition. This is not about, just going organic or using less water. It's a fundamental reimagining of farming itself. We're talking centralized corporate control and, get this, the development of completely new types of food products. That's at the very core of this idea.
And this comparison here really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the traditional idea of farming, maybe the family farm. And on the other, you have this new corporate model, massive scale, centrally managed, and with a huge focus on creating totally new kinds of food. And look, make no mistake about it, this is a massive shift. That's the exact phrase from the source material. We are not talking about some slow, natural evolution here. This is a deliberate, calculated, strategic pivot in how our food is grown and, crucially, who gets to control it. So you might be thinking, okay, but why should I care who owns some field in the middle of nowhere? Well, here's why. Because this trend has a direct line, a straight shot, right to your dinner plate. This isn't just about land anymore. This is about the future of your food. And this is where things get really interesting. If this whole trend just keeps going, what does the future of our food actually look like? I mean, what are the real consequences of just handing over the keys to our entire food supply? Well, the source material points to two huge potential impacts. First up, there are major concerns for U.S. food security. Think about it. When control is centralized in just a few hands, what happens if their interests don't line up with ours? And second, a deliberate push for something they call dietary shifts. And yeah, that's just a fancy way of saying they want to fundamentally change what we all eat.
And this is pretty much the playbook for how they plan to do it. It's a simple three-step process. Step 1, acquire the land. Step 2, shift to these new corporate farming methods. And then, step 3, introduce all these new food products to the market. I mean, it's a crystal clear roadmap to a totally new food future.
So what does one of these dietary shifts actually look like in the real world? Well, the source material gives a pretty specific example: insect-based proteins. Yep, you heard that right. The future of food could be, well, it could be very different. So, when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, what does this all boil down to? It's actually incredibly simple. Whoever controls the land controls the food. Period. This is so much more than a real estate story. It's about the very foundation of our entire food system. And that leaves us with one last and I think really crucial question. As all this soil changes hands, moving from the family farmer to the giant corporation, who really gets the final say in what the future of food is going to look like? It's definitely something to think about.